Hey fam, I know it's been a little bit. It's been like, what, a month, over a month? So sorry. You would think with, the quarantine and everything, I'd probably have more time on my hands, but I've been involved in school and taking care of that, and just kind of tending to myself. I've been doing really well so far, despite, I've had little waves of emotion and depression, which is normal. I mean, I think everybody is going to be somewhat negatively affected by this. And my heart goes out to those that are working overtime to serve us, and to help others. Thank you so much for putting your life on the line for this. For those that are dealing with anxiety and depression at home, know that you're not alone. We are here for you. There are people that do care. So please don't hesitate to reach out. It's very important. And I just wanted to go ahead and touch base and say a few words. One of the things that I thought that I would kind of mention right now is I think with the combination of being quarantined and just being in this very, very strange time, it's throwing us off, quite literally. It's really throwing us off, mentally, psychologically. And I think we're having a hard time knowing where to put our energy and our feelings towards all of it. And with that being said, what's interesting to observe is how the media and social media are taking advantage of this, in the form of propaganda and conspiracies. There's so much out there. It's really sad to see it eat up a lot of my friends and family, that they are becoming emotionally invested in what they're hearing, what they're reading, what they're seeing. That's really causing more harm than good. It's causing more division. It's causing more speculation. It's causing more hatred. It's causing more uproar and even more violence, of what we see here. And there's just a lot of irrational things that are being said and things that are being done right now because of being misled and being misinformed. And this is the reason why I started a podcast. My podcast is formed around media literacy and research. And right now, more than ever, I think we really need to tap into that. And, I do hop on Facebook just to kind of see what's being said, maybe chime in here and there. And when I do chime in, I really try to be diplomatic, but poignant and, a little bit on the profound side. And what I'm noticing right now is those people who are being kind of conned into, and submersed into these propaganda stories and conspiracy theories. I sense so much emotion in them, and there's a lot of irrational thought coming from this. And I'm not like knocking them one bit. I'm just noticing what it's doing to people, the bait that is being used to captivate them and to get them to believe something, without taking the time to like take a step back and logically reason with what's being presented to them, taking it a step further and maybe even just doing a little research. It only takes a few minutes, just a few minutes, to dig deeper into something that you read or see, to see if it's actually true or if there are some red flags to it. And that's what I encourage. I encourage that more than anything, to just, especially if you do have the time, which everybody does have the time. And if you don't have the time, don't post it. Don't post it unless you absolutely know, that it is factual, that it can be backed up, with evidence or science or something. And so a lot of people around me are being so emotionally led that is causing them to be very defensive. And I know that they don't want to be wrong. I know that they want to feel justified for their their sharing of this information and justified for how they feel and their opinions, which I absolutely get. And I think we all kind of want to be a part of something right now. I think that's what's missing, especially when we're so closed off from one another, is that we're not feeling that camaraderie. We're not feeling that social connection. We're not feeling like we are in any way inclusive with our tribes right now. And so we're finding a mean to feel included. We're finding a meaning to feel accepted or to belong with something. We want to feel like we are trying to do something for the better. However, it's kind of glazed over the real situation at hand, and we're losing focus on what we need to be concentrating on, and we're losing focus on what we can be doing to change for the better. The one thing that we need to stop doing is just passing on misinformation, and we need to be researching. We need to be digging deeper. We've got to put this misinformation and propaganda and falsities, we got to stop these in their tracks. So that's the first thing that we need to do. We need to take a step back and not allow our emotions to take over, because that is very detrimental. I used to be a conspiracy theorist. I got sucked into that rabbit hole. And, I got into things like InfoWars. I got into lots of conspiracy documentaries, reading books and trying to tie together different prophecies to go, oh my God, this all lines up. And it did. It really took over my life. It took over my mind. And I wasn't thinking clearly anymore. And it actually caused anxiety and paranoia for me. And I finally was like, I can't keep letting this happen. This isn't my life. This is who I am. And so I took it in a different route, and I started education. I started research. I went back to school, learning psychology, learning research and media literacy, and starting my podcast. So in the form of, I would say, about 5-6 years, I've really transformed from not caring at all to buying into all of the propaganda and conspiracies to going, wait a minute here. I want to be influenced by evidence and science. And that is how I want to be guided. And that make me feel like I'm a stick in the mud. Oh, well, I don't care. But I would rather do that than be led emotionally and go down this rabbit hole of false information and pass on false information to people. I have to think about the people around me. I have to think about my children. Okay, I have a child, but children or generations to come, and how we would want this world for them. And the last thing that I would want for generations to come is to just be guided by emotions, and to not be educated and learn how to self-educate. If we're not learning this stuff in school, by all means, we have the resources at our fingertips to dig deeper and to educate ourselves on truth from untruth. And so if you're listening to this, I want you to just kind of think, how are you responding to the news or to stories or posts that you see being passed around on social media? Do you feel like it's causing too much emotion in you? Do you feel more depressed than ever? Do you feel more angry than ever? Do you feel more hurt than ever? Do you feel more violated than ever? And start to ask yourself why. And I was just thinking about this the other day. I was just like, we really do need to be acting more like, those toddlers who are so curious, and they're asking the question of why all the time. Why? We need to actually start bringing that into our mental capacity again, and in a sense turn into a toddler. Be inquisitive, be curious, have that desire to learn more about something and to get answers, so that you're not misled. So I definitely encourage that more than anything, just to stay curious, stay learning, stay educated, educating yourself. Be inquisitive. Let that lead you more than anything. So, not allowing immaturity to take over, not allowing emotion to take over, or irrationality to take over, but your inquisitiveness, your curiousness, that part of the child in you, it is important to hold on to throughout your whole life. And so, above all else, I would say, like I said, just keep digging, be curious, be inquisitive, keep finding new things out, dig deeper, be a healthy skeptic. That's what I call it. A healthy skeptic doesn't necessarily, believe everything you say, but at the same time, you're not discounting it either, no matter what it is. And you have to take that from an unbiased perspective too. So, whether your political party or whether your belief in the coronavirus or science or social ideas, anything like that, like, it doesn't matter. Take yourself out of that for a minute and look at it from an unbiased perspective and look at both sides. Even if this is something you think you agree on, dig into it deeper to see if there's something that you find that isn't right about what you believe. It's okay to prove yourself wrong. You don't want others to point it out. You don't want others to say you're wrong about this. It's better for you to have that integrity to say, hey, you know what? I was wrong about this, or look what I discovered. I thought this before, but this is actually what it is. And so to have that integrity and to come out and say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. Or I didn't realize this. I didn't know this. It is so much better and bodes well for humanity for us to be able to have that integrity and that humbleness when it comes to information. Now, I don't want to tout like I know it all. What I do is I research everything that I see or read that I kind of go, I'm kind of curious about this, or I'm wondering if this is really true, or what is missing. There's something missing. Again, asking those questions. Why? What does this mean? What don't I know about this? What can I learn from this? And dig deeper and present that to other people, whether that be publicly, very my podcast or on a friend's page, to express that. Not to say that they're wrong, not to say that that I'm trying to belittle them or act like I know everything. Absolutely not. I am researching as I go when I provide this information, and that's what I encourage all of you to do. So again, have integrity, be curious, and dig deeper. Take that moment to question your thoughts and feelings on what you see and you hear in the media, social media especially, because it can get to you. It can it's a bait, basically, is what it is, down to the fact that people can create false accounts and they can make up stories like everything from a YouTube video to a Netflix documentary to just a simple post. That's the thing is we have to realize is that there's so much falsity out there that it's unfortunate that we have to be skeptical about everything that's in front of us now. But we have to. We have to take everything with a grain of salt and look at it at a deeper level and ask ourselves questions first before we truly hook on to any kind of a belief or opinion on these matters. And I think now more than ever right now, we need to be a little bit more serious at what we're advocating. We need to be a little bit more serious on what we believe and what we push for. And it really does. It really says a lot about a person's character if they take the time to educate themselves before they express their opinions on a subject. And so there's a difference between opinion An educated opinion. So there can be opinions, absolutely, when it comes to education, when it comes to science, but that is backed up by facts. It's backed up by evidence, by tests, those tested hypotheses and things like that. So educated opinion is much different than just an opinion based out of emotion. And that's where we are truly defining ourselves as sheeple or not. So a lot of people claim, I'm not a sheeple, I'm not a follower, I'm not getting sucked into anything. Well, you're sharing information that is not true, or that is missing context, or that is propaganda trying to get you to believe something by making you get emotional about it. So that is a form of being a sheeple, is you're being conned into a belief system. So with that being said, it's very important that you break things down when you are presented with it. Take that time to be a healthy skeptic. Take that time to break things down in your head before you share, before you express your opinion. It's okay to take that time. So let's go within. Let's reflect on our thoughts about something. If you still have questions about it, ask, dig, research. It is at the tip of our fingers that we can actually do this. You don't know where to turn to. Like I said, there are great websites out there. Turn into my podcast. My podcast gives great examples of how you can fact check, how you can research, how you know what to look for when it comes to social media and when it comes to media literacy, and know what to look for and know the red flags. So I definitely encourage you to check out my podcast, Sage Up Podcast. You can find it pretty much on all platforms now. Sorry, shameless self-promotion, but it's true. And it can really be a starting point for you. Another valuable outlet that you could look into is Quora, Quora. And that is a site or an app where you can actually submit a question and have experts respond to you. So if you have this very unique or personalized, or just kind of a very, very specific question that you want to find out, you can actually have experts respond to you. And that is very helpful as well. So again, there's so many resources at the tip of our fingertips, and we can get this information to us at rapid speeds if we take just a moment or two to do that, instead of go, oh, look, a post about this. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. I'm going to have to share this with people. Okay, if you can't believe it, or if you question it, or you're shocked about it, it's best to look into it a little bit more. So take it from more of an objective standpoint. We are emotion-led creatures. It's easy for us to be led by emotion, but let's just take a step back. Can we be unbiased for a moment? Can we be objective for a moment? Can we be rational for a moment and analyze the situation or the issue first before we jump on the wagon and call it truth or call it our opinion? So there's a lot that we can do for ourselves that can actually influence the rest of us. If you say you want what's best for this country or for humanity, then take a step back, be objective, be curious, be unbiased for just a moment, do a little digging. It will make all the difference in the world. Thanks, and I hope you all are doing well, and I'll talk to you soon.